This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1134 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by EquestrianCollections.com. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip features Justin from Total Saddle Fit and Dressage Radio Show co-hosts Reese and Phillip answering a listener question about fitting a saddle to a short round horse. And we'll get right to our tip after this from EquestrianCollections.com.
Hi, Glenn here, and we are back with Debbie from Equestrian Collections with the Equestrian Collections Product of the Week.
Hi, Glenn. This week, it's show season, and this week I'm featuring some hair bows for the little lead line kids. We just had the Upperville Horse Show here just this month, and it made me think about things for the little rider. And so I found these Shires hair bows. It comes under the name Shires hair bows, and they come in a multitude of very exciting and cute colors to match those outfits for your lead liners. It comes in blues and pinks and little horses on it, and they're very easy to attach, and they're heat sealed, so they're quality. They're ready to wear. They're high quality. They will hold their look. I don't know. In Upperville, it was pouring down rain. I don't know how well they did with that, but I'll bet they did great. So if you're looking for something to dress up your lead liner's outfit, take a look at the Shires hair bows.
And, of course, you can find those at EquestrianCollections.com. Just search for Shires hair bows at EquestrianCollections.com.
And happy showing.
This product highlight was produced by the Horse Radio Network. Listen to all of our shows at HorseRadioNetwork.com.
We got one from Brian here that says, I recently started getting serious about doing dressage on my Morgan mare after many years of just playing around. So I wanted to get a proper dressage saddle. She was very round and short backed. Are there any particular fitting issues unique to short backed horse? Thanks.
Definitely. So I think we should break this up into two pieces, which is round backs and short backs, because they both have kind of unique characteristics to look out for. So for the round back horse, the main thing that I would look for is overall like a broad fitting saddle. Now, this doesn't mean narrow or wide twist. I mean more about how the panels touch the horse's back. So if we have a round horse, the saddles are going to want to kind of be a little bit unstable left to right. They may want to shift or move left to right. So if we have a broad fitting saddle, we kind of get a more stable planted fit on the horse's back. So what I look for is wide panels, meaning side to side. So you can look at the back of a saddle, and some have kind of very petite cylindrical panels as you look from the back forward, and then have broad, kind of flatter ones. For a round back, you certainly want those broader, flatter panels. And then the other thing, along with, sort of in tune with the panels, is that you'd like to have a wider gullet. So the space between the left panel and the right panel, generally, as a rule of thumb, the bigger the better if you have a very round horse, because that, again, is going to make the saddle sit more planted and more stable. As for the short-backed horses, this can sometimes be a little bit tough because at the end of the day, you have a rider that wants to ride their horse, and you have to fit the rider into a saddle with the rider's size, right? So, in theory, if you have a very short back horse, you could use a shorter saddle, and you wouldn't risk going past the last rib, getting into the lumbar, or anything like that. But I'm going to kind of speak to it as if we don't really have that much choice in the length of the saddle, and we're going to make the best of the situation for whatever saddle fits the rider that owns this horse. So the first thing is that I'd suggest making sure the saddle is balanced in the center. And one of the biggest saddle fit problems I come across anyway is unbalanced saddles. And what that means is either sitting too low in the front, like the pommel is low, or sitting too low in the back, like the cantle is low. And regardless, one way or the other, you're distributing weight over your horse's back unevenly. So if you have a short back horse and you know you might be right on the cusp there of how your saddle's fitting, lengthwise, be sure the balance is centered so you're not putting any additional pressure on the back of the saddle, the back of the seat, which would be over the horse's lumbar. And the second thing, in terms of the short back horse, would be taking a look at what is called the gusset in the back of the panel. And that's like, if you look at a side view of a saddle, of a dressage saddle especially, but jump saddles as well, you'll kind of see like a triangular little strip of leather at the back of the panel. And modern saddles have these very large gussets in the back to make saddles fit stable on bigger horses, warm blood, stuff like that. But for short back horses, you want to make sure that gusset does not protrude out backward very much. Make sure it's a more minimal gusset, and that'll prevent any additional pressure from being carried too far back on the horse's back.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I know that with certain saddles, you can buy it. If you're buying brand new, you can buy it with an extra gusset or not. I guess that depends on your horse, right? I mean, you wouldn't just buy the extra gusset. You don't get the gusset on every horse. You have to really understand what that is and whether that is good for your horse or not, right? It's going to cost you more money.
Well, oh yeah, it will. And that's, assuming that
right?
we're talking about someone with a budget.
Adding way back there behind the saddle to where it's like squared out behind the seat, the horse has to be big enough to support that.
Totally. And, that those big gussets are made for longer backs or flatter backs that can accommodate that. If your horse has a short little back, then that one's probably not for him.
Well, there you go. You can find links to today's guests as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. Make sure you have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows wherever you go with the free Horse Radio Network app for iPhone or Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. You can also subscribe via iTunes. This podcast was made possible through the generous support of EquestrianCollections.com and listeners like you. Learn how you can help support Horse Radio Network programming and qualify for auditors-only perks by going to horsetipdaily.com and clicking on the Become an Auditor banner in the center of the page. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back again soon with another tip. And until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements of guests or their opinions. Use your own judgment when listening to the tips provided by the experts on Horse Tip Daily.